Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about 1.1 characters. Specifically, are they worth going for compared to Yuan? I already have videos for 1.1 character kit analysis. If you're interested, feel free to check those videos out. In this video, I'll primarily focus on the pool value between these three characters, Jane Doe, Chingy, and Yuan. The situation of which one is better of an account highly depends on your account situation of which characters, especially the 5-star standard characters you already have on your account that can be paired with them. I'll give you all the possibilities, and of course also depending on your strategy, how you want to go about it with this game. And at the end of the day, as a reminder, pull for who you like, of course. With that out of the way, let's begin first with Yuan. She's an excellent option for her account if you want to push shield defense as early and as quick as possible. She is a premium Ether DPS unit, the only one of its kind as of right now. There's a fair amount of Ether weakness enemies in shield defense, and also there are floors with Ether damage boost as well. So just by having her in your account, you'll be able to push relatively far, much earlier than ever before. However, do know that for her future value, it's very up in question because she's a pure Ether DPS with no gimmick or anything like that, just pure DPS. So in the future, whenever there is like an Ether anomaly DPS with some kind of gimmick, will probably overtake Yuan. However, do note that we are probably not getting an Ether DPS anytime soon. Let's say we're not getting one for, let's say, 5-6 months. She will have her value. You will get a lot out of her. And even when another Ether DPS shows up, I think she's still gonna be an okay choice, especially when you're gonna be fighting against floors where you'll have advantage with Ether damage. As for her team options, I would say the best option is gonna be on release with Nicole. Everybody has it. You also will most likely end up with Nicole dupes because she's on the Rata banner. Nicole has very nice dupes such as C1, C4, and so on. So she will help your Yuan quite a lot. As for the Bangbo options, Rezonabu would be a cool option to go for with Nicole plus Yuan. Rezonabu does have more Ether anomaly build-up and also has a nice pull similar to Nicole's skill where it's gonna keep enemies together. But do know that it has a hefty cooldown of almost 30 seconds, so it's not something that's gonna happen regularly to the fight. But if you do play around that and you group up enemies quite often together with Nicole plus the Rezonabu, you'll have a pretty easy crowd control against normal enemies and lots of damage from Yuan. However, do know that with Yuan, she will get most damage out of her kit against stunned enemies with her suppressive mode. So technically, you will want to play with stun unit in the team if possible. Whenever Chingy comes out, she's most likely gonna end up being best in slot for Yuan. So do know that if you do want to maximize your Yuan, you'll need another S rank rate up unit, which comes pretty much shortly after her. So that means you might be tight on gems and might not be able to get both of them back to back. But do not worry, even if you don't get Chingy, you can still make Yuan work perfectly fine with Nicole or Lucy anyways. So it's gonna be all good regarding that. Overall with Yuan, I would say that her value is more in the now than the future, because I don't think in the future she's gonna age that well. But if you do enjoy this character, which I personally do quite a lot, you'll have a great time with her. But just don't expect her to age that well in the future as they release more Ether options with better gimmicks / utilities. But as of right now, she's a nice option to push content quicker. Now let's go over 1.1 units. Let's begin with Chingy. She's the premium stun unit. She works in all kinds of teams. Unlike Yuan, the teams do not revolve around Chingy. She's very splashable. All you have to do is make sure that she does get her additional ability, which requires you to play with an attack unit or somebody from her own faction, which would be Yuan or later down the line Jane Doe. Her extra ability is very nice because it will increase her personal damage further. Basically, her impact past 120 will get her one extra +6 attack up to 600. So basically, you'll be able to have 600 attack, which will improve her own personal damage as well. And also, it will give you a nice base damage 20% with normal attacks for your entire team. So you'll be able to stun even faster. I believe Chingy is going to be extremely good value right away. As for how well this character will age, besides her being a premium stunner and having some form of personal damage, she doesn't doesn't offer anything else in her kit, the likelihood of them releasing another stun unit that's gonna offer more things just besides stun and having some personal damage is very likely to happen. However, if you do get Yuan, and if you want to improve Yuan further, Chingy is a premium option for that. Also, Chingy can be splashed in all kinds of attack teams, from free-to-play options such as Corin. They also have Anton, Soldier 11, and Nekomata. In all of these teams, she would work, get her passive. Of course, you can also pair her up with Ellen, but I do not recommend doing so over Lycaon, because Lycaon still has a very nice ice damage res down, which synergizes really well with Ellen. But if you do not have Lycaon and you do have Ellen, you could still technically use Chingy in this team and she worked perfectly fine. I do believe Chingy is gonna be a pretty good unit for at least within this year, at least for the first 6 months. However, as soon as they release another stun unit with extra utility and not just like I'm able to stun enemies fast and have some form of personal damage, I think she's gonna get phased out. But nevertheless, she will always have a place with characters like Yuan. They complement each other really well. But do know that Chingy is not an actual DPS unit like Jane Doe or Yuan. I highly recommend to pull Chingy on your account only if you already happen to have good DPS units. Let's say you already have Soldier 11 or other strong attack units, or you went for Yuan and then you would go with Chingy to complement these teams. However, if your account does not have any strong DPS units to begin with, especially an attack unit, which what Chingy would require, I do not recommend going for Chingy as your first pull option. It would be more or less Yuan or Jane Doe. Now let's go over to Jane Doe. Is an excellent premium physical anomaly DPS. She's definitely gonna shake up the meta. She will make the game much easier for you to progress through shield defense. You've already played Piper, you're probably already aware how strong Assault is. But besides Assault being good, Jane also has her gimmick around Assault, which will allow you to be able to crit with your Assault on the debuffed targets from Jane. So yes, technically if you play Jane with another physical unit, that other physical unit can also crit with their Assault. Regarding the crit value, the crit damage is fixed. However, the crit rate does get increased based on her own anomaly proficiency. And also Jane has a nice conversion passive where she will get additional attack boost based off her anomaly proficiency, which makes her very easy and nice to build. Basically, you just slap anomaly proficiency, and of course you still want anomaly mastery, and she's good to go. Those assaults will crit, pretty nice damage. As for team options, she has several options. You could technically play Jane with Piper and Lucy. I'm not personally sure how it's gonna be with the field uptime with Piper and Jane, but let's say it does work. You would have both of these units being able to crit with their assault, which would be massive damage. Of course, there are also other options that you can take with Jane, such as Grace. She's an excellent anomaly character that's gonna pair up very nicely with Jane. By Grace being an anomaly role, Jane is also gonna get her additional ability activated, which is pretty nice. Her additional ability does give her more physical anomaly build-up and also more damage against enemies that are suffering under anomaly, and even further more extra damage if they're suffering under physical anomaly. But what's nice about Grace with Jane paired up together is that you'll have access to disorder damage. Basically, when an anomaly of a different attribute is applied to a target that is already suffering from anomaly, disorder will be inflicted upon that target while dispelling the original anomaly. Do note that the base damage is based around the original anomaly that was dispelled, so your Grace and also your Jane will be able to do pretty nice disorder damage. So basically combine Jane with Grace, and another option that would be excellent here is also Rina, if you happen to have her. I do know this is a lot of S rank units in one team. If you do not have, let's say, Rina or Grace, you can easily use the budget option, which would be Set. He's an A rank unit that should most likely be on Jane Doe banner. He's a defense support unit that does buff anomaly teams by reducing enemy anomaly build-up resistances, so be able to get faster anomaly build-up on enemies, which is very nice. However, do know that for Set, his X special skill is very costly, and if your team does not have anything that increases his energy, because for example, if you don't know, support ultimates in the game also give energy for the next character, 20 that is, and also 10 for the entire team. team. So let's say you play set in a team with no supports and not using support ults, you will potentially not get his energy on time. There are some fixes to that, such as the battle pass weapon. For example, the battle pass weapon does give you energy, which would work nicely for set, just as a heads up. Overall, with Jane, if you already have a stacked anomaly account with a lot of anomaly units, you could easily get Jane Do, pair them together, and get even more value out of it. As for the Bangbo option, I highly recommend to go with Lucky Boo if you end up playing Piper and Jane together, because the requirement of T physicals will be met. Basically, characters in your squad active skill will inflict 40% more anomaly build-up. This is very powerful. You will get anomaly build-up faster than ever before. So if you end up playing with Piper and Jane in the same team, I highly recommend you go with Lucky Boo, an excellent Bang Boo. Or even better, you could wait for the 1.1 Bang Boo, which is for the police faction. So if you play Jane plus Set or Jane plus Chingy, you will meet its requirements, and that one might end up being a really good physical anomaly build-up Bang Boo as well. Just as a heads up. But nevertheless, you can't go really wrong with Lucky Boo. Even if you don't have two physical in the team, I still think it's not that bad. It still does accumulate anomaly build-up to some extent. My biggest recommendation is, if you care about endgame content, let's say you want to push as early as possible shield defense, is to go horizontal investment on your account. What is horizontal investment? Basically, getting more characters on your account with different types and roles, so to be able to snipe enemy weaknesses much easier, and also have the ability to snipe damage bonuses or any other beneficial buffs for your characters more likely. So at this stage of the game, I highly recommend going horizontal investment, just by stabilizing a roster with several different type of teams and roles, so you'll have an easier time progressing through end game. And later on, once you stabilize your game state, account that is, with a decent sizable roster of different characters and teams, that's when you could also consider going for character signature weapons or dupes of the characters you already have. But do know that as of right now, most of these S rank units on the Reta banners don't have really enticing C1s or anything like that. So I recommend for the future, probably around closer to anniversary patch or even the anniversary unit, that will have a really good signature weapon value and also dupes. But until then, stick with horizontal investment if you care about the smooth account progression as free-to-play / low spender, and then later on start dipping a bit in vertical investment whenever they start making game harder or provide you with new end game modes and so on. So yeah, I guess this is it for this video. I hope it gave you an idea how to go about it with these characters. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask me in the comments down below, or even better, feel free to ask me on my streams. I stream every single day on Twitch / YouTube. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.